Well, good morning, magandang umaga, and welcome to today's episode of My PI Dream. You probably recognize from over my shoulder, this is not sunny Philippines where we're at right now. We are actually back in not so sunny Charleston, South Carolina. Today is April 9. So happy 9 and happy 10 for you guys that are in the Philippines. Now, let's see. I have some things that we're going to be discussing here pretty soon. We're going to be talking about 20, where 20 is the magic number as opposed to 0, which would have been a sad number. And we'll go into that once we start the episode here at the beginning of today's episode. With Ness joining me here, we are going to start today's episode. We have some things to do around here as long as the weather holds out. It's been kind of rainy here every single day that we've been back, and it makes it kind of tough to do some yard work and things like that. So without further delay, let's get today's video underway. Well, in the opening segment this morning, I talked about happy 20. Happy 20 as opposed to a not so happy 0 that I was expecting when I came back from the Philippines back over here to the U.S. Remember, we did the koi pond last year, and we populated with about 25 fish inside, some koi, mostly koi, and some feeder goldfish. Well, while we were gone, the pump shut down because I think there was some kind of a lightning strike. We get a lot of lightning here in the southeast, particularly right here in the Charleston area. A lot of bad weather that causes sometimes breakers inside your house to trip, breakers on your outdoor equipment like you have for pumps and lighting and landscape lighting will cause them to trip as well. Well, anyway, the pump was turned off for quite a long time. So when we got back, this pond was nothing but a bunch of murkiness. Remember, I put the netting, the netting on the top. Now the netting was there primarily to keep the leaves. You see all the leaves from the trees that we have behind us. Remember, this is the U.S. It gets cold and much of the leaves fall down. And the netting was put on there mainly to keep the debris from going down to the bottom drain in the bottom of the pond. Also to keep out some of the critters we have around. Remember last year we were here, we had lots of raccoons. As a matter of fact, we caught a bunch. We did a bunch of catch and release, if you remember those videos as well, for those of you who've been following. Well, anyway, it did a good job, but there was a lot of debris that went down into the bottom, and I lost communications. I have something set up for communications for me to be able to turn on and off the pump and both the air pump and the water pump from abroad. There was an update, maybe update to the firmware, update to something, but I didn't have control of that after they did the update. So I was left literally dead in the water. Excuse the pun, but nothing was working here. So it sat for months with no circulation. And as far as feeding goes, I thought the feeding was done with our automatic feeder. Remember, I did the automatic feeder back there. Well, the automatic feeder was continuing to work. That thing worked great. Unfortunately, nobody was filling up the feeder with food. So the fish had no filtration, no water flow, and no food for, I'm going to say, at least 4, maybe 5 months while we were gone. Let's see. But I came back and I cleaned out all the water. I pulled all the water out of the pond, and to my surprise, I expected 0 fish. I expected them all to be gone, either by the wildlife from around here or from lack of filtration and lack of feeding. But I will tell you, fish, especially goldfish and koi, they are extremely tolerant to extreme conditions like very high acidic water, no filtration which causes the acidity, and also the lack of feeding. But they had the lack of feeding. I wasn't too concerned because remember it was over the winter months when the water temperature goes down to around 55 degrees. They don't eat anyway. They go into a hibernation mode. But this was a very mild winter. But like I said, when I got back, I was pleasantly surprised when I removed the dirty water, cleaned out the filtration system, and guess what I found in the bottom of the pond? Well, let's see if we can see. Let me see if I throw some food inside. Well, I ended up finding about 20 fish inside there. I think 20, maybe a little bit more than 20. We're going to round off at 20. But most of the koi, I think we lost maybe about 5 fish. And that could be due to predators. And it could be due that they couldn't handle the acidity. But most of the fish survived. I was so surprised. And it has to do with the larger the pond, the easier it is for them to survive in very poor situations like the situation we had here with lack of water, lack of food, and lack of attention for filtration. Well, anyway, the guys survived. Two of our fish, which were named after both of our grandchildren brought the fish to us. They are still here as well, and they'll be happy to know that the fish that are named after them are still alive and kicking, or alive and swimming, let's call it. Now, I want to thank all of those great subscribers out there that kept asking, when are you going to be back online? When are you going to be back online again? Well, the first week, which is a little over a week that we've been here, the first part of the week was doing nothing but cleaning. I want you to see the grass is actually not covered with all the leaf debris. When we arrived here, all this grass here, you could not see the grass. Let me show you what it looked like. All from the backyard looked like this. That's behind our backyard. So the first thing was starting to get the yard in order again, so that the grass can become healthy again, get thick and lush, and look like a lawn. So that's what I've been working on almost every single day. That and weed extraction. We have weeds everywhere. I've never seen so many weeds in my life than when we came back this time. So what we're doing this time, before we go back, we're hiring a landscape company to do gardening, basically gardening. Take care of the cutting of the yard, take care of the blowing of the leaves during the fall and the winter months. So it will be taken care of so we don't come back to the mess, because I've spent the entire week doing nothing but cleanup around the house here, and it could be used for a lot better activities around here. I still have to do lots of pressure washing because it's so wet. When things get so wet, you get things like, you see how dirty the patio is here? I need to pressure wash that. Remember we did the the video on the review of that really neat adapter that you put on your pressure washer for things like driveways. You can see the driveway is really dirty as well. It needs to be cleaned too. So a bunch of maintenance kind of things. And then once that gets done, the next thing is we're going to start doing a little bit of travel, because remember, we are back on vacation. I need to get away from maintenance and daily tasks that you do around the house and get out and about. We went and we visited some family members already, and we need to continue doing that. Catch up with our old friends, catch up with more family members, and then before you know it, it's going to be time to be headed back towards the Philippines. But before we do, one of the things I want to do, like we did last time, it will be balikbayan time, balikbayan box time. So what I'm doing now, I'm looking for things on like Amazon.com. All the items that I can't find in the Philippines, we'll pack them up here and we'll send them back to the Philippines as well. Well, anyway, let me get back to the house. I am supposed to go get some new glasses today, or at least go for an examination and then set up for a prescription. That's another one of the things that needs to be done on our task, our daily tasks here as well. Mundane, I know, but things that have to be done. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but the opening sequence that I did today, I showed you some of the growth that went on. It wasn't really that bad of a winter here. I know they had a horrible winter up in the north, in the Midwest, the Northeast, a lot of cold weather, but I think it was relatively mild. And the reason I say it's relatively mild is because things like this, like our palms, if we have very, very cold weather, all these, they turn brown, and I have to cut every bit of them off. But we still have a lot on our sago palms, on the regular palms that we have around here. All the leaves are looking really good. Plus, we have early blooming of things like this. Now, this is the olive tree that I planted inside this pot that I picked up last year at Lowe's. $34.98, I guess, is what I paid for this. And the olive tree, you can see, we're starting to get little olives all over the place on. You see little olives here? So this is blooming already quite well early, and this is early April. Let me show you also in the backyard some of the things that are starting to bloom. Now you can see this is our mandarin tangerine. I think they call them mandarin inside the Philippines. But these are also getting tons of blossoms on here. These will eventually turn into tangerines as well. This is an old pepper plant that I left. You can see it's still inside the container. I never took it out of the container. This bared so many. This is chili. This is a chili hot pepper. I have a Tabasco. I think the Tabasco over there didn't survive. I don't know. We'll continue looking at that. And then we have another one over here, which is a cayenne pepper, but it's starting to bloom as well. Well, not bloom, starting to get some. Well, I can see some little blooms inside the little flowers inside. I trimmed this off, and they're very resilient, and they seem to be coming back really good. This really surprised me. I think we're going to get lots over the summertime here. Now, I really pruned down this plum tree. You can see we're already starting to get plums. You see the plum right here? There's a plum, and I saw some other plums here in different spots on the tree. See a plum right over here. But this needed some good pruning, so I did some nice rounding pruning. This one's going to do really good. We haven't really gotten any plums since I planted this about 2 to 3 years ago. And also, you see the blossoms on this tree? This is a peach tree. And hopefully we get some peaches on this one. I could have probably pruned it a little bit better, but it looks like we have tons of blossoms. We'll see what happens with this year. Now, you probably notice here on the koi pond, none of the pumps are working right now. Well, they do run, but what I decided to do, I'm doing an experiment. I'm talking about cycling the pump. So let's go inside the pump house inside here, mission control. And I have an Alexa device inside here that I can control around the world. So all I have to do is say something like, Alexa, turn on pump.
Okay.
And you can hear the pump turned on. And now we have a waterfall. And normally both of these guys would be spitting out water over here. But right now I turn this guy off because he's got a little leak underneath the bottom that I have to work on. But it seems like everything is working just fine. Let me show you the other device that I can turn on remotely anywhere from the Philippines. Let me turn off the pump and we'll turn on the air. Okay, now let's see if I can turn on the pond air from this device as well. Alexa, turn on pond air.
Okay.
So let's see if I got air going into the pond now. Yes, I do. So that works well. And I can do this from anywhere. I can do this from the US anywhere. I can do this anywhere around the world, from the Philippines. So let's go ahead and turn that off as well. So what I did, I went ahead and set this up on a schedule. So it has a regular schedule for doing aeration and doing pump work for the filtration. I don't need it to run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, which is what ended up clogging up my biofilter over here and shut everything down. Alexa, turn off pond air.
Sorry, I don't know that.
Alexa, turn off pond air.
Okay.
Sometimes Alexa, she just doesn't like to listen to me. right, so all that works pretty good. I'll continue to fine tune it, but like I said, the main thing I wanted to do with this is to start scheduling times when the pond filter runs and when the air filtration runs, so it doesn't run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So in our absence, we have to have a minimal maintenance, which is basically going to be somebody feed the fish during the time that we're gone. Also, update, what's going on in the Philippines at Villa Feliz over the last week. Remember, we have the CCTV. We can see everything that's going on at the house. Hapon. Funny thing about Hapon. Hapon must really be missing us. Dogs do strange things when their masters are gone. You ask anybody who has a canine, and when they're gone, and maybe cats do too. I don't really know about cats. But what Hapon did, he ended up shredding his bed, all the pieces. Our gardeners has been cleaning up day after day because he keeps pulling the insert out of the foam or the fiber that's inside his bed. He's just been shredding that, and I know what it is. I've seen this before. The dogs miss their masters, and they start doing things like this. I've seen people that had dogs that they keep inside the house, and when the master is away, the dogs just rip up the couch and shred things inside the house. But he'll get over it. It'll be something. It just takes a little bit of an adaptation for the dog to be away from their owners. But when they come back again, everything seems to be normal. So you're probably wondering, James, what are you doing with your sunglasses on inside the house? Well, I just came back from the optometrist, and they put the solution inside your eyes to make your pupils dilate so they can do the battery of tests that they do during your eye examination before you get your prescription glasses. And that's what they did. And when they open up the pupils, as you know that those of you who have had the eye examination done, which is probably most everybody, is it creates a harshness of the light on the outside. It's very hard on your eyes. So it's like 4 to 6 hours, I think, 4 to 6 hours that you have to kind of not get in any type of bright light or even any kind of light because it causes irritation or makes it very difficult to see. So hence I'm wearing the glasses inside the house. We just came back from the grocery store and the optometrist. Pizza and buffalo wings tonight? Yeah, buffalo. So that is an dinner for tonight. Now, getting back to the optometrist, I plan on doing a comparison like I do with the cost of medical. Remember I did when I was admitted to the hospital in the Philippines, and I did a comparison on what U.S. costs versus Philippine costs when it comes to medical. I will do the same thing when it comes to optometry when I get back to the Philippines. What I plan on doing, I need to get a second pair of glasses anyway, so I will go and I will get the eye exam while I'm there, and I will get a pair of comparable prescription glasses to what I just paid for today. The difference is, but I'm going to be willing to wager that it is at least twice the amount in the U.S. For prescription glasses and the examination than it is in the Philippines. We'll find out when I get back to the Philippines. We're going to close for today. Not a big video for today, not a very long video, but we decided that it was time to let you know that we are back in the U.S. and we're fine, because we have a lot of people that keep asking questions. Where are you guys? How are things? Are you alive and well? Things like that. Oh, yes, we're alive and well. And again, it's all about getting the house back into shape, getting the yard back into shape, doing the maintenance that needs to be done. Even when you're gone, things break while you're gone, and they need attention. So I hope you enjoyed the video of Hapon destroying his bed.
He is so stressed.
Yeah, he's so stressed when we're gone.
Wanting human contact.
But he'll be okay. Everything will be fine. Now, before we close for today, I want to thank Yvonne for sending me the link. You remember Yvonne and Manfred, who have the house down in San Juan, and we were invited to Sawali House for their party earlier this year. They captured some of the footage. In February. So they captured some of the video. Someone had a camera, and they got some of the full performances that we did there. And so what I'm going to do, I'm not going to put all the performances in one video. I think what I'll do is at the end of today's video, after the closing credits, I'll put one song in there, and then the next video we do, we'll do the same. I think we have three. I think there are three videos from three different songs that we did during their party. And is this somebody with a camera? I think their phone camera. And I think it was Yvonne. I think it was Yvonne doing it.
One of the guests.
One of the guests. So we'll go ahead and do that. So if you want to watch the full song in its entirety, we'll provide that for you at the end of today's clip and the next couple of episodes. So, well, anyway, let's go ahead and close for today. If you enjoyed today's video, please give us a thumbs up. Please share, and if you have not subscribed, just click on that little My PI Dream heart in the bottom right-hand side of your screen. You'll be subscribed, and you'll be notified the next time we upload a new video. So until such time, you have a wonderful and blessed day.